Dear readers, once again we bring to you a message in these times of confusion and chaos. Know that you are witnessing a divine plan unfold, and remember that this is why you chose to be on Earth at this time. Today's chaos is serving to expose underlying beliefs and energies that have remained hidden but active for centuries. Dense pockets of energy are surfacing for all to see and examine. Increasingly more individuals are beginning to question and ask themselves, is this how I choose to live? Is this how I wish the world to be? Is there a better, higher way of doing things, one that serves all and not just a select few? All is proceeding according to plan, the unstoppable plan of spiritual evolution. Many uncomfortable revelations will occur during this coming year, so be spiritually prepared. You are watching the tip of an ancient iceberg begin to melt, but is what you have been preparing for. Observe and be informed, but do not align with what you observe. Imagine yourself sitting in a movie theater watching an engrossing story unfold on the screen. The story has a lot of twists and turns and many players are involved. It holds your attention and you realize that both the bad and the good characters are necessary to the wholeness of the main story. You watch without judgment, fully aware that you are sitting in a theater watching a captivating story. You experience emotions as the story unfolds, but never to the extent of forgetting that you are not the movie. What you are witnessing now, the unfolding story of Earth's history, in order that the new story can begin. We see many suffering, confusion, doubt, and anger. Simply allow emotions to express without resistance or guilt. Emotions indicate what you consciously or unconsciously still believe about yourself or others, and frequently arise from pockets of old shadow energy active in cellular memory. Emotions are valuable tools that can help you understand your beliefs, and as you learn to love and accept yourself, warts and all, you become a person of compassion, insight, and forgiveness, able to help others do the same. This is why you are here. Every new insight adds light to the world's consciousness. Without the higher frequencies of light that so many evolved souls brought with them and others continue bringing to Earth, the evolution of mankind would take much longer. Present times represent a graduation, dear ones, but are not the finale. There is much to come. Because the reality of every person is divine consciousness, which is always expressing itself, no one can remain frozen in time forever. Just because some concept, belief, idea, worked well at a certain level of awareness, does not mean it will work forever in the same way. The moment even one person shifts out of alignment with some old falsehood and into truth, it will affect and change the entire collective, because there is only one. This is the work that spiritual masters throughout all time have done. Their teaching seeded the collective with truth even when very few at the time were listening, thus making truth available for all to access. Unconditional love during these difficult times means remembering that the essence of every person is divine consciousness, regardless of their words and actions. It does not mean approval or sticking your head in the sand. It means that you acknowledge the spiritual reality that underlies all appearances. Love is the conscious realization of oneness, one infinite God expressing itself in, as, and through infinite form and variety. Duality and separation energy expresses in all facets of living as the pairs of opposites. This can easily be observed in organized religions, cultures, countries, science, laws, traditions, and policing, as well as in politics. Some always believe that they are right and everyone else is wrong. A person can live for many years with everything going perfectly, but if they are living from a three-dimensional state of consciousness, everything can and probably will change at some point when least expected. As increasingly more light flows to Earth, many commonly accepted beliefs based in duality and separation are for the first time being seen with new eyes. As more and more individuals awaken into a sense of oneness, many long-standing, rigid, unfair, judgmental, and often cruel rules of correctness will begin to be rejected. Do not fear these present times, dear ones, but rather rejoice in the realization that that which you have prayed, hoped, and longed for is finally happening, even though it may not match many three-dimensional concepts about Earth's ascension. Because you know what is going on, you can be an observer. Send to and hold light for the USA throughout this coming week, for the energy is going to become increasingly intense. High resonating frequencies always dissolve the lower. The false carries no light because it is simply an illusory mind form, a concept accepted into one's consciousness having no law to support or maintain it other than the person's belief in it. However, since consciousness is the substance of form, any old belief can and will manifest itself in the outer scene. The dark is not reality but is simply the absence of light. Those heavily invested in the dark make it into something through their belief in it, but you who have awakened to truth need not fear these things, for it is only the belief in them that gives them their life. Spring will come, but severe winter storms must first be experienced. Chaos will continue to rule for a while because this transition cannot occur without first uprooting the energy of centuries, or rather eons of time, during which mankind was programmed to believe in and be controlled by individuals and beliefs based wholly in duality and separation. Those times of darkness actually assisted Earth's evolution by pushing mankind to seek something more and better. Many intellectually know, but most have not yet fully realized that they are a living expression of Source/Divine Consciousness/God, which is true even for those with no awareness or interest in knowing it. You are not a body that has consciousness but are consciousness with a body. Every person's state of consciousness expresses through their actions and experiences. It is imperative that every evolving soul at some point begin to accept that in reality they are divine consciousness embodying all the qualities of Source, rather than continuing to believe that they are simply a vulnerable physical being. Ask yourselves often, what am I holding as truth in my consciousness? Because this is what you will create. Am I continuing to wait for something outside of myself, the event, e.g. ship's landing, a particular message, to make me into what I already am? As divine consciousness, everyone is a creator, but because most do not know this, they continue to believe that they must protect themselves at all costs from every false concept and belief floating about in the three-dimensional collective. There is no unexpressed consciousness. Every time a war on something is launched, it simply establishes the issue more firmly into the collective. The issues of chaos taking place at this time are exposing the contents of a universal consciousness that has for eons consisted almost completely of error. The erroneous concepts and beliefs that form this three-dimensional collective mind must first be recognized as being false by the majority, which in turn gives birth to a new, more evolved collective that will consist of ideas, solutions, and creations based in love/oneness accessible to all. Evolution is simply the journey involved in awakening personal and collective consciousness to remember the reality of their true being. Attaining the consciousness oneness, not the intellectual knowledge of it, allows the qualities embodied within divine consciousness to flow and express through you in practical ways personal to your needs. Hold your light, stand in truth, and simply watch the movie. All is proceeding according to plan. Do not doubt. Many of you are discovering that without effort you are suddenly understanding some deep truth that previously confused you. This is because you have shifted into alignment with that particular truth, whereas before you were not. This indicates that even though you may think nothing is happening for you, it is. Release all remaining concepts about what spirituality should look or feel like. Once you intend to spiritually grow, the train leaves the station. Do not attempt to restore those things that you have spiritually outgrown, be it a relationship, spiritual practice, or something material like a favorite food or entertainment. The dissolving of something familiar may cause you to feel sadness, but know that everything real will manifest again in new and higher form, which may or may not reflect your concept of how it should look. Most of you are beginning to honestly examine facets of yourselves that you previously avoided and stuffed deep down inside through shame, guilt, pride, regret, pain, etc. You are learning to love all parts of yourself and, by doing so, love others without judgment and criticism. As the light becomes increasingly dominant, it will shine into the shadows, which are nothing more than pockets of old energy that became something simply by being accepted as reality in personal and global consciousness. Without fear, allow the light of your own divine selfhood to shine into your hidden places and reveal to you their nothingness, because you will find nothing there. Allow, allow, allow. We are the Arcturian group.